Hi, welcome to the EBOPro demo for the employee buttons on EBOPro. When you first log into EBOPro, you're always going to land on your dashboard, whether you're logging in from your phone or from an iPad, from a computer, a laptop, you're always going to land on your dashboard. The dashboard can look different depending on your level in your company, what's been designated to you. If you were a driver, I can show you what that looks like. We can always look at our driver's dashboards by just going to View Dashboard. If I was a driver, then I would be able to see the last few weeks of what I did, my calendar of time off requests. If they're green, they've been approved. If they're yellow at the end, they're pending. And you can go back and forth different months to see my schedule. External links that have been shared to driver level. It might be these link to our safety videos, so I don't have to look that up every month. I can just click right here. Maybe your employee manual is very large and you don't want to have to print it out every time and you want them to have access to it. You can put it on here and just have the signature page that you save say that they saw the employee manual and they know that it's accessible to them. Maybe your healthcare information guide is very large and you want it to be accessible to them, but you don't want to print it out where they're just going to lose it anyway. You can put that here. Anything you want to put here to share things among your company. If you want, you can designate it shared to a driver, manager, different levels. So different levels will see different things in their external links on their dashboard. And then the last few weeks of miscellaneous work or expenses they've turned in. They can also do anything they need to do. The drivers can do anything from the dashboard. So if they clicked on Add New, they could add a trip log here, spot log, put in an expense that needs to be reimbursed, or put in a time off request that will go to you for approval. So the drivers can do anything from their dashboard. The dashboard for a different level of the company might look a little different. The owner, the managers will have the settlement statement analysis, and then they'll have the calendar for anybody that is under them. So they'll have time off requests from every driver that they manage. And again, you can go back and forth. If you want to see the time off request, just click on it. It'll take you to the time off request to give you more information. Your external links might look different. There might be some that are not things you want the drivers to have, so they would just be under managers or whatever level you're choosing. But then also, if you're a manager that drives, you might see your mileage summary, you might see your miscellaneous worker expenses, and you can also add new things from right here. And that's the dashboards, and they do vary based on your level in the company. The next thing I wanted to show you is this is how it looks when you first come in. If you want to see the extra buttons on the side, you go up to the hamburger button in the top left, click on that, and more buttons will open up. This is how you can navigate through EBOPro. The buttons on the side might have color on the sides. The buttons that do not have color, those are what your drivers will see. The drivers will see the dashboard, trip log, spot log, expenses, miscellaneous work, and their schedule. Only their schedule or whatever items you've opened up to them. So if they choose not to add their trip logs and things from their dashboard right here, they can do it from right here. It does the same thing. All they're doing is adding a trip log. A trip log is basically the driver telling you what they drove. So just like everybody says, the drivers want to get paid right, they're going to keep track of what they drive, whether they're writing it down in a journal or they're writing it down on a piece of paper, or they do the same thing so they know. But here we want them to keep it inside the system. We just ask, instead of using a piece of paper, that they fill it out here in EBO. That will help you make sure that you get paid by FedEx. Not just the things that are obviously missed. If the driver went out and never came back, that's obvious. We automatically throw that in. But if you have your drivers doing trip logs, if FedEx doesn't pay you for a whole out and back, we will know. As long as your drivers entered it, you reviewed it, you made sure that's really what they drove, and you don't get paid for it, then you can get the whole out and back instead of just the missing legs. But of course, the system finds the missing legs for you, just like everybody else's system can. But we have the ability to keep your trip logs in the system. And spot logs. They can also enter reimbursable expenses if they spent money and you told them, hey, turn in your receipt, put it in EBO, and we'll reimburse you on your paycheck. Or if you ask them to shuttle a truck or do something extra for you and you just want to pay them extra because they did extra, you can just put it under miscellaneous work. That's basically anything extra you want to pay them. So they can see all of those buttons and the schedule button that will give them their schedule. The other buttons on the side are for higher levels. So it might be manager level, back office, admin, depending on what you designate you want to see which items. We're going to look today at the employee button. So when you click on the employee button, you're going to see an employee listing pop up. The first employee, these are all your active employees. If you wanted to see employees that used to work for you, you can, but it's defaulted to just show your active employees. Looking at this listing, I wanted to go over the top of the screen. You'll see the same top in trucks and in other screens. If you want to add a new employee, you're going to click here where the plus sign is. If there's a filter field anywhere in EBO, you can just start typing anything in and it'll make the listing shorter based on what you're typing in. You could type in somebody's name, you could type in the hub number, you could type in the beginning of a FedEx ID. It'll just shorten the list to whatever you type in. If it's on the screen, it can shorten it. If you want to filter by columns, you click on the item next to the filter and you can add and subtract columns and tell how you want to filter. The Kebab menu next to that gives you extra choices. Anytime you see this 3-dot Kebab menu in EBO, it's just going to give you more choices. So it's always a good idea to click on it and see what the choices are. Here you can uncheck hide disabled users, and then your former employees will appear in the peach. And then you could click on their name and get their information, their address, their phone number, anything that you wanted, maybe you need to get in contact with them again. But the default is to have that hidden and this just be your active employees. Over here on the right hand side is the 3 bars. The 3 bars, when you click on that in any screen in EBO, you can customize the screen to whatever kind of report you want. The more information you put in, the more information you can get out. So all you have to do is uncheck columns or recheck columns. You could check a column and then it will show up on the screen, and now you have that. Or you can get rid of columns if you don't want to have it. Once you get it the way you want, if you would want to always use that view, you can save it. You just go to the middle section, click on the arrow, go down to Save As, name it whatever you want to name it, and then you can click Save. Once you've named it, to get back to it the next time you come in, you don't have to reselect all the columns. You just go to under Custom Views to Saved Views, and a list will appear, and you just select the one that you made. So you might name it JWZ Employee Listing Custom, or whatever you'll remember, so that you can select it again and you don't have to remake that report every single time. So that's how you customize any of the reports or screens in EBO. You can print them once you get it the way you want it, print them out, or you can download them. And if you click that, you can download it, copy it to a clipboard, download it to CSV, or download it to Excel. That's the easiest way you can get these reports out. Once you get them to Excel, you can do anything that Excel can do with them. So work on them in here, export them out, work on them some more, get all the information that's in here you can get out. So again, the more information you put in, it's a good place to get everything in so that you can use it later. Next to every employee's name, there's the Kebab menu. This is again more choices. So here you could go in to edit it, or you can click the name. You could view what the driver sees, so you could view their dashboard or their trip logs and expenses. You can reset their password. you can disable them. So if you have a driver leave, you'd want to disable them so they don't appear available for scheduling. They don't appear in your active employee listing. Put in the date that they left and click Save. They'll remove from this list until you go in and uncheck this so you can see your disabled users. Anywhere in EBO where the name is blue and underlined, if you click on that, it's going to take you to their employee information. Anywhere in EBO that has the FedEx ID in blue and underlined, it's going to take you to that driver's trip log. And you can always go back to the listing where you were by going to the bottom left and clicking Go Back. It'll take you right back to where you were. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you see the name in blue and underlined, you're going to their information, account information. Anytime that you see the FedEx ID blue and underlined, you're going to their trip log. So if you wanted to add a new driver or employee, you're going to click the plus sign. The screen will open up for you to enter information. You're going to want to enter as much information as you can. There's different sections that can collapse: organization, contact, personnel, payroll. You're going to want to enter as much of this as you can. Anywhere there's a pencil, the driver could enter. If you want to fill out as much as you have to and then get the driver to enter it, I'll show you an easy button for the driver to get right in where they need to be. But you're going to want to enter their name, FedEx ID, hire date. If they're a driver, keep that checked. If they're not a driver, uncheck it. Put in the company, put in the hub that they work out of. If they work out of more than one hub, put one here, and then click the plus sign to add more. If they're not a driver, you would uncheck that, and then you would put what role they do have here. So you're just going to click on EBO roles and click manager, back office, whatever roles you have set up. Those roles are what's going to keep people from seeing different things they shouldn't see. So drivers will only see certain things, managers will see certain things, however you have it set up in your organizational page in EBO. Then under contact information, you're going to have an email, and you're going to want to check create user and then do the password things. So anywhere there's a pencil, the driver can fill that in. To invite the driver, you have to at least have filled in the name, FedEx ID, hire date. You're going to need to leave this driver checked, put the company and the domicile, and then all you need is their email address and leave create user checked. Then all you have left is password. You can either leave it blank for a random password, hard key in a set password, or say check here to say you want their FedEx ID to be their password. So once you just enter that information, you can click Save down at the bottom, and EBO will send your driver a welcome email that tells them how to sign in. Once they sign in, they can do their own, fill in the rest of the information themselves. Keep in mind they can only put in the items that have the pencil next to it. You'll have to put in the rest. A fast way for your drivers to get to their account information. So throughout the year you might say, hey, make sure your addresses are updated. Hey, make sure this is updated. Update your defaults for your truck and what you're driving. That saves them time on their trip logs. The only thing they have to do is they just, wherever they log in, their phone, their iPad, whatever, their tablet, they just go to the top right corner where there's a person, click on the person, and go to My Account. That's going to take them to their information, and it'll give them only the items that they're allowed to enter. The ones we saw the pencil with are now here. They can enter in all this stuff, and that'll save you time from entering everybody's stuff. So once you have them created, always remember at the very bottom to click Save and save your information. That will get your employee listing up to date with the most information that you can pull out for your reports and for alerts. The next thing I wanted to go over was the buttons that show up below employees. The first two are just reports that we've made that a lot of people use, so we've made them kind of defaults over here. One's called retention. This just will give you everybody's hire dates, everybody's, kind of information. Again, you can change it to what you want it to be if you just click on the 3 bars, uncheck items, recheck items, save it, update it, then save it as a saved view. You can do that from here too. You can, again, if you wanted to change it from last to first names or whatever, I mean Z to A, you just click on that hover over here. FedEx ID numbers, how you want to sort, however you want to sort it, you just hover over the column and click on the arrow. The next one's called regulatory, and that's just pulling out the CDL and MedCard expirations. If you have your drivers keep this up to date, when their date is getting close, it'll turn yellow, then orange, then red. So this is going to be a very helpful report. Again, you can update it just by clicking on the 3 bars and changing it. If the report is longer than one screen, at the top up here, you're gonna see arrows. So this will only, there's people on the second page, so you're going to click to the second page. That is there. The next one, you'll notice it's green, not blue. It's a different color. That's because in this demo test model, we have pay rates only going to very specific people. So you might not want your managers or certain levels to see the pay rates. You can make this very specific. Pay rates are just another default report that you can change however you want it to be. And it just gives the wage type, rates. Might have more if your payroll is more sophisticated. You might have a condition, you might have incentives, you might have a lot of things that can be in there more than just mileage pay. They might be part of a group, like a student group that has a cap on them, or 5-year group, however long they've been with you. You can set up different payroll and see it all here. Those are the buttons for the employees. To see your driver's trip logs, if you're using the trip logs, I know a lot of people have had a lot of questions about what's the best way to see them. Of course, like I said, anywhere in EBO that you see their FedEx ID blue and underlined, you can get to the trip log. But that could be cumbersome. And also you could do it from here, the Kebab Menu next to their name, and view it that way. The most efficient way to view them is to go to reports. One of the summarized reports that I like is under routes by driver. This will give you who's entered their trip log under what route. So if Felix ran Camden, and that's right, great. But if Houston Butthead is not these people, they put in the wrong thing, you're going to want to correct it. Or if their miles don't match, they're in the same truck, their miles should match. There'll be a bright yellow banner that says unbalanced if they don't. If you want to look at their individual trip log from here, again, just click on their FedEx ID. It'll take you to their trip log, their journal of what they did this week. To go back, you just go to the bottom left, click go back. It takes you right back to the report where you were. This is a good way to check all your routes to make sure that the drivers are putting in the correct route, and you can kind of see a summary overview. Another great place to go is under reports, under quick links, go to all driver logs. This way you can filter by people, and it'll just give you that one. You don't have to go back all the time. You just change your filter to the next person. And as you're typing in, you can type in anything, it'll filter. So if it was a holiday on Monday and you wanted to know who drove, because they get paid a little bit more for the holiday if they drove, just start typing in the date. It's going to tell you who drove on Monday. And you can easily see that, pick it up, and pay them correctly. So this is another easy place to see everybody's driver logs. Well, I think I am up for time to go over the employee buttons. I will set up another demo for the truck and routes and every payroll. Thanks.